Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Just out in the courtyard again. And we haven't heard a helicopter until we started. Things are getting back to normal.
Yeah, we actually never heard a helicopter at all since we got here.
Well, I have.
Alright.
Okay, so we're reading from the Granth Srimad Bhagavatam. Ready?
Now you were going to start.
Oh, I'm going to start. Just going to change it up a little bit. So we're reading from the third canto, which is entitled Status Quo. We're in fourth canto. Fourth canto. What is the fourth canto entitled?
Look at that cat. Fourth canto.
Hello, kitty. He's like, how can I get out of it?
Let me do it, because you know what? Fourth canto, chapter 24, text 75.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. In this material world, there are different types of achievement. In this material world, there are different types of achievement. But of all of them, the achievement of knowledge is considered to be the highest, because one can cross the ocean of nescience only on the boat of knowledge. Otherwise, the ocean is impassable. Interesting. Purport. Actually, everyone is suffering within this material world due to ignorance. Every day we see that a person without knowledge commits some criminal act and is later arrested and punished, despite the fact that he actually may not have been conscious of his sinful activity. Such ignorance prevails throughout the world. People do not consider how they are risking their lives in an attempt to have illicit sex life, kill animals to satisfy their tongue, enjoy intoxication, and gamble. It is very regrettable that the leaders of the world who do not know the effects of these sinful activities. They are instead taking things very easily and are succeeding in making the ocean of nescience wider and wider. Beautiful. So Prabhupada going at the leaders, basically, because leaders should be in knowledge. They should have intelligence so that they can guide others and help them to become free and get out of the material world. But leadership in the material world at the moment means, how can I promise you that you can be richer or more comfortable in the material world? And basically, it's just a lie. It's not steeped in knowledge. It's steeped in ignorance. And basically, by doing that, I can then convince you to pay me some money to try to enjoy something in the material world. And that's why Prabhupada is just making the ocean of material existence wider and wider. Hare Krishna.
Next paragraph. Opposed to such ignorance, full knowledge is the greatest achievement within this material world. We can practically see that one who has sufficient knowledge is saved from many dangerous pitfalls in life. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 7.19, Bahunam Janmanam Ante Jnana Vamam Prapadyante. When one actually becomes wise, he surrenders unto the supreme personality of Godhead. Vasudeva Savamiti Sa Mahatma Sudurlava. Such a great soul is very rarely to be found. So I think it's appropriate that yesterday we were at Matchless Gifts and we were celebrating the welcome. Actually, this won't be yesterday. Well, we were yesterday anyway. And we're celebrating the welcome of Prabhupada. If you think about it, you know, it's really nice to see the Murti there now, isn't it? I wasn't sure, I'll be honest, but it is. And this one man did just that. He created these very rare souls, if that makes sense. Coming to the Lower East Side, putting up with so much stuff. And if you read the chapters in the Leela and Rita, it wasn't all rosy, it wasn't all romantic and all that.
Far from it.
Yeah, and it's quite painful actually when you read it.
Mm-hmm.
But what Krishna's saying in the Bhagavad Gita, it's like Prabhupada disproved that, if that makes sense. I know it sounds controversial, but it's like, because this is Krishna speaking, so such a great soul is very rare for people to turn to me or to do this, to do that. It's rare. And then what Prabhupada did with this single act of coming to the West is making these rare souls. So how many people at the time that he was here took to Krishna consciousness and have continued to take to it and will continue because of the devotees, because of the Parampara devotees, because of, and I say meaning from him onwards, because of his books, because everything that he's created, the kirtan, the japa, the prasadam. It's like, and I mean that I'm not trying to be like controversial, like say something negative. I'm saying it's glorious of Prabhupada that it's like he disproved Krishna. Such a great soul is rare. Now I'll show you, and then he just creates all these rare souls, if that makes sense,
Yeah, it was interesting. Again, nice perspective. Yes.
That's it.
Yeah, kind of on that point, our friend Michael, who he doesn't watch, but you all know that I read with when I go to visit my family in Brownsville. He's 83 now. I just spoke with him before I got back and he just finished reading Your Ever Well Wisher, the abridged version of the Prabhupada Lilamrita. And he was sharing. He was like, "Yeah, I couldn't put the book down. I just read it. I finished it in like a day or so. I need to read it again because I just whizzed through it. It was so exciting, and it's very clear that he's empowered by Krishna, and that he's such an amazing person. It just increased my faith so much." And yeah, so that's a really powerful point. Sa Mahatma Sadurla Baha, that the Mahatma, the devotee, is very rare. But actually, Prabhupada, I like that. I really appreciate that. He made them, he put them all over the planet. The irony is that it's still very rare. Because there's 8 billion people on the planet at the moment, which is a high number. And I think we were hearing the other day that they reckon there might be somewhere in the region of 2 million devotees. So 2 million out of 8 billion is like...
Well, it's a rare soul.
It's a rare soul.
It proves the point.
Okay, this Krishna consciousness movement is determined to open wide the eyes of the so-called leaders who are full of ignorance, and thus save them from the many pitfalls and dangerous conditions of life. The greatest danger is the danger of getting a body lower than that of a human being. That is the most dangerous thing. Get an animal body like that cat disappeared. It was with great difficulty that we attained this human form of life, just to take advantage of this body and reestablish our relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Govinda. Lord Shiva advises, however, that those who take advantage of his prayers will very soon become devotees of Lord Vasudeva, and thus will be able to cross the ocean of nescience and make life perfect. I like the way that's stated. The Krishna consciousness movement is determined to open wide the eyes of the so-called leaders who are full of ignorance and save them from the pitfalls and dangerous conditions of life. Yeah, it's like I won't say a classic, but it's definitely like a mission statement. It's like we want to open the eyes of the leaders wide so that they can understand and encompass that there's a higher purpose than just, what I was saying a few minutes ago, just trying to make some money, It's amazing. I was just checking.
Text 76. Although rendering devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead and worshipping him are very difficult, if one vibrates or simply reads this stotra prayer composed and sung by me, he will very easily be able to invoke the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is especially significant that Lord Shiva is a pure devotee of Lord Vasudeva. Vaishnavanam Yata Shambhu. Amongst all Vaishnavas, Lord Shiva is the topmost. Consequently, Lord Shiva has a sampradaya, a Vaishnava disciplic succession called the Rudra Sampradaya. At the present moment, those who belong to the Vishnu Swami Sampradaya of Vaishnavas come from Rudra, Lord Shiva. To become a devotee of Lord Krishna, Vasudeva is very, very difficult. The word especially used in this connection is Duraradhyam. The worship of the demigods is not very difficult, but becoming a devotee of Lord Vasudeva Krishna is not so easy. However, if one adheres to the principles and follows in the footsteps of the higher authorities, as advised by Lord Shiva, one can easily become a devotee of Lord Vasudeva. This is also confirmed by Prahlad Maharaj. Devotional service cannot be practiced by a mental speculator. Devotional service is a special attainment which can be acquired only by a person who has surrendered unto a pure devotee, as confirmed by Prahlad Maharaj. Mahishyanam Hadarajo Abhikshekam Nishkinchananam Nav Renita Yavat. Unless one accepts the dust of the lotus feet of a pure devotee, who is free from all material contamination and cannot enter into the devotional service of the Lord. Bhagavatam 7.5.32. Again, it points to Prabhupada, doesn't it? Unless one accepts the dust of the lotus feet of a pure devotee. So the pure devotee who walks amongst us, he walked amongst us physically, and now he walks amongst us in his words, in his books and in his lectures, and actually through his disciples, as we were hearing at the Prabhupada festival when we were welcoming the Murti, hearing it's nice. It's always nice to hear from the disciples about like little stories or their interactions with Prabhupada, and that's how you become enlivened. I remember, I think of Prabhupada. Like, it sounds nice. So yeah, definitely. We've all accepted that dust of the lotus feet, and it's our responsibility to keep accepting that dust, because as you know, dust can trickle away. Maybe not in my case, because I need to dust more, but literally in the apartment I meant, but
Hare Krishna.
But dust, that's the nature of it, so to keep rolling. How am I going to keep rolling? By doing the Bhagavatam Bites, by hearing, by chanting, by being with the devotees. There was actually something else that came up, that it's not easy. Yeah, Prabhupada is stressing that it's not easy to be a devotee of Lord Krishna. And I was thinking, yeah, but it is. Again, Prabhupada has proven this because he's made the process so nice. Like the last few days, last few weeks coming up, there's so many nice events here at the moment in New York. Radhanath Maharaj is in town, leading up to New York Rath Yatra, and when you're on that buzz, we're going from one program to another, and you're tired, but it's a nice tired, not like a negative, horrible 9 to 5 job tired. You can remain Krishna conscious, you can remain buoyant, basically, on the path. So I was thinking, that's, again, Prabhupada created that, and it's not that you can't always be like that, really. Like Prabhupada said, we could have a festival every day. It's just that we don't,
Beautiful. All right, I think we'll finish here. Thank you all very much for tuning in, and please remember to like,
subscribe,
share,
comment.
Haribol.
Haribol.